I think the future of the China economy is very optimistic. China has a lot of room to increase expenditure because its public debt to GDP ratio is very low. Because the saving rate of the population is extremely high, so there is a chance for consumption to increase and government expenditure also to increase because that low debt ratio, and that will encourage the economy to move forward, activating demand and employment. Perhaps one important factor is that China is not identified with dogmas. The policy making of China is very pragmatic. So I think it's going to overcome the problems of this real estate financial stress because it has the tools and the ideological flexibility to do it. But China has an advantage over any other country, that its internal market is very large. So increasing consumption internally through a little fall in savings, which are so high, I mean, about 3 times the average in the West, and the increasing government expenditure due to the fact that the fiscal deficit is very low, so there's margin, you can substitute foreign demand for national demand. Motive, which is, I think, is an economic one, and there is a political, ideological one. The economic one is that China is so competitive, so successful. I mean, the country has a trade surplus of $875 billion, while all the other big countries have big deficits. So they see it as a threat that is taking markets. Contrary to the preachings that free trade and competition was the magic thing for world development. And now they don't want China to do what it does very well, to be efficient, competitive, with a very modern economy, high-tech intensive and manufacturing intensive. And that's one reason. But the other reason is a mistake about China. This belief that China is a communist country, that there is no private property. And so the owners of capital in the West fear that if China is very successful, its model is going to be copied and they are going to be expropriated in their own countries, and private property is going to be over, which is ignorance. Because China has a strong private property sector, there are market forces. So there is ignorance, and I think at times China failing informing about that, the dynamism of the private sector, something you can feel when you are in China.